what you're doing at Lego has a direct link with the consumer community. Can you share with us what you do, what you put in place, and how do you use your core community to influence the rest of the community?
Yeah, thank you. I'd just like to say that I agree with everything that's been said so far. No, I have just enough French to get myself into trouble, but not enough to get myself out again. So the speeches that I have followed point out something that's basically. Can you hear me? Is it very close? There you go. Okay. What I have to do now is I have to provide examples to show that we're doing it really well, so there's no pressure. But what we do in Lego is we work with the social side of things. There's been a lot of talk about, in social media circles, about tools and what's the latest thing to use and how you should be using customization on Facebook pages and which Twitter applications to use. We take it back to the social side of things. When I was presenting, when I was preparing this presentation, I did a quick search on Google. I put Lego in, and I got 39 million results back. That either means that we're doing something very well or we're very lucky. There's a little bit of discussion as to we're doing it very well or whether we're doing it very lucky. 39 million hits is not bad for a company that doesn't have an official Facebook page, it doesn't have an official Twitter, and doesn't have an official corporate presence on many social media networks. That's not to say we're not there. We have several of our product groups, we have several of our individuals working on social media, working with Facebook. So the question is, are we very lucky? We work with the fans. We don't look at social media, we look at social. If you just have a look at this graph that we've put up here, I can see that my wonderful corporate Lego formatted TypeScript has disappeared completely, but don't worry. It should say Lego fans are social. And what it shows is that we use the Forrester ladder, which shows how people interact, whether they are creators, conversationalists, whether they're critics. And the green line there is the average US online consumer. The yellow and the red lines are Lego fans. These are our top fans. When we're talking about the affinity pyramid, these are the people who are at the top. And as you can see, in nearly every single measure, they are more active online than an average online consumer. Do you want to go to the next one? Yeah. These are our fans, and the old guy in the middle is the grandchild of the founder of Lego. Lego is still a family-owned company, and we go regularly to fan events. We're there and we meet the fans. By the end of 2010, there would have been 140 fan-organized events, and they would have attracted over 2 million public visitors. Those are events that we don't have a financial interest in. We don't organize. What we do is we turn up and we give our support. You can see how active they are. There are Lego user groups around the world, and these are organized by themselves, but we have a relationship with them. There are, believe it or not, 275,000 Lego movies on YouTube, and the top 5 have 47 million views. But it's not just YouTube, it's also they have blogs, they upload images on Flickr, they have thousands of related websites. One of the reasons why we haven't been the fastest in organizing ourselves corporately on social media is because of our close connection with the fans. This is the most recent example. You've probably seen it. It's a guy from Manchester, a software programmer, created a printer out of Lego that used a felt tip pen, and it just printed "Hello World." This got 2.2 million views in 2 weeks, and around 10,000 tweets within the first 12 hours. We didn't have anything to do with this, but we were very grateful. Thank you very much. This happens quite a lot. And when we talk about our relationship with the community, the TLG, by the way, is shorthand for the Lego Group. We have interaction with the users, but we also ensure that the users have interaction with each other. So this is where the Lego user groups come in. We also have a group of people called Lego Certified Professionals. We have about 11 of them. Is that on the next one, I think? Yeah. So if you go on to that one. We work with something called social objects. And we take the top half of the pyramid and we fold it down. When in the last presentation we were talking about seeding and then getting the enthusiasts to react and then getting it into the masses. This is how we actually do that. We have a core group of 11 certified professionals. They then use their influence. These are people who have a business with Lego. They have signed contracts with us. They get certain benefits. We invite them in to speak about new products. They then build fantastic things, which they then share with the other fans, and the other fans then just go and share that with the rest of the world. And that's generally how we tend to work with things. And these are the Lego certified professionals here in Billund, outside the head office. And the sort of publicity that they create, there's a guy called Nathan Sawaya, who was an American guy, an ex-lawyer, decided he didn't want to be a lawyer anymore, he wanted to be an artist. And he chose Lego as his creative medium. And he's had huge amount of publicity on our behalf, you can say. Lead users are another way of doing it. These lead users are people, again, we have a professional relationship with, not necessarily a commercial relationship with. These are the guys that we invited in and said, we're building a new robotic set. How about helping us? We brought them in. We've also done the same with the new online game that we're launching in October called the Lego Universe. We brought people in early. We gave them a laptop each. We gave them all the software for developing. And they have actually built a lot of the models, the virtual models, and some of the gameplay that is actually going to be in the new Lego Universe. So, I mean, this is the various ways that we develop it. If you just run through up to the top, we can have Lego developed and Lego published. We can have co-developed and published by us. We can have user developed and Lego published. Or that people can do their own things. There are people building robotics applications for our Lego Mindstorms things. We're also beginning to work with a little bit of social media. This is my colleague Peter, who is actually in San Francisco at the moment. They're presenting to a conference in the Computer History Museum, and that's going to be quite a lot. We are present on Facebook. This was a French Facebook page that showed the awful damage that was done to people's feet by standing on Lego. And Lego actually put together a reply video where they actually apologized for this terrible thing, and they would never do it again, and tried to come up with all sorts of strange ways by strapping Lego base plates to their feet and walking around. So we now have to look at this ecosystem that we have and say, we have to step further into this. But because of the the close relationship we have with our fans, and if we're talking about the top of the pyramid, it's virtually a personal relationship. We know them, we go to the same shows as they do, we speak to them, they help us with things, we put journalists their way. If a journalist wants to speak to a fan about Lego, we say, well, you need to speak to this guy in your area. We have a special relationship, so we have to then say, okay, how do we take this further now? And that's what we're looking at now, to take this position of trust and not necessarily build a great Lego empire online which steals traffic from them. We have to work together with them to build the next generation of Lego online experience.
Okay, great, thank you. I have a first question for you. Basically what you said is that you put a lot of effort on the core true fan, the ambassadors of the brand. And do you think that every brand needs to have those kind of ambassador?
I think any brand that's a good brand has them. Whether you want them or not is sometimes they're not always the easiest people to work with. When you have people that make very strange models that don't meet our ethical guidelines. We've had situations, you might have seen it, where somebody did a mock Lego set which was the Prophet Muhammad. We got the blame for that, but it wasn't us, honestly. But we have very strict ethical guidelines where we can't get involved in anything that's political or religious or denigrates minorities of any sort. So when we deal with Lego professionals, they actually have to sign that they won't do anything. But I think having that core fan base is very important. And I think if you can work with that, they do take up a lot of time. And I think one of the things you have to work out is how much time you put in and how much do you get out of them. It's a balance thing. I mean, we get a huge amount out of our fans and we put quite a lot of effort in. We have a whole community engagement team of around 4 or 5 people in the US and Europe who, I won't say service the fan community, but make sure things run smoothly.